Welcome to Living Local After Dark. I'm Sharice Gomez, and I have the pleasure to be joined with not just one author, two authors in our midst. Welcome to Ellen Minnie, and also author of The Comeback Era, her third book, Yasmin Cheyenne. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. We're so excited to have you on the show. This is so exciting.
I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's just dive into the book, The Comeback Era. First of all, the title is fantastic. What inspired you to write this book in the first place?
You know, my first book was called The Sugar Jar, and that book was heavily about boundaries. Mm-hmm. The second book was kind of about, okay, I set the boundaries, and now I have to bring that wisdom with me to begin to learn the lessons and live my life the way I want. But I knew that once you set the boundaries, once you have the wisdom, the messy middle's coming. Mm-hmm. And this book really addresses what it feels like to have maybe checked the blocks, done all the things, but still not feel maybe the permission or have the tools. Like, how do I actually live the way I want to? So the Comeback Era kind of helps to address that, specifically helping you reconnect with who you were before the world told you who you had to be.
I love that. I want to talk about the messy middle a little bit. I think people are talking about that more and more, kind of when you're getting to the place you want to be and you're like almost there, it's in reach, but there's a whole lot going on. How would you describe the messy middle?
The first word that came to my mind was arduous, but it is just painful, to be honest. The messy middle is the thing that most people hide. That's where the shame lives. That's where you begin to feel like you're failing. That's where you feel like you made a mistake. Like that marriage, how could I have chosen that partner? I'm getting divorced. How could I have, chosen this career and not know that it wasn't for me? Why did I have kids and not be able to handle these hard times? That's where we really start to blame ourselves. And so the beauty of being able to reframe those moments into not lessons, but these are the mistakes that you make. Life is full of what I call in the book pocket wisdom. It's what you carry with you to help you move forward. And so what I want to change is not preventing the messy middle. There's no way to do that unless you commit to not making any changes or not taking any steps. But it's an opportunity to say, yes, I made that mistake. Yes, that failed. Yes, that didn't work out the way I hoped, but I still have time. I can still do it the way that I want to. I can still learn from this.
And one of the ways you learn, and you talk about people learning in this book, is the little me, which is powerful. When I heard that and when I read it, talk about the little me and who that is inside every person.
I read a quote recently that really summed this up. It said, getting to be midlife is basically getting to be 16 again. And I believe that is why you see midlife folks, what people would assume is crashing out, but really they're getting to live for the first time the way they want to.
Yeah.
They are having that rebellious period that seems like they're afraid they're running out of time. But actually, I think it's not fear. I think I finally don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care that you think riding a motorcycle is weird. I don't care that you think dyeing my hair pink is weird. I'm going to do it. And so little you has been waving the flag, trying to get your attention and say, hey, this is what you want. But most of us do what society expects. Most of us do what our families expect. We don't really listen to that voice. And most of us have been taught to stuff that voice down. So this reconnection allows us to honor that voice and live with them in mind as well as ourselves.
I love this.
So rich,
Yes.
so rich. And I want to go back to the writing process because, again, this is your third book, and most people might know you as a Today Show contributor. You're a wellness expert. People look to you as an authority on, a healing process and getting to be their better selves. At what point did you go through a comeback era and realize I've checked a lot of boxes, but there's a second era here, and you're like, I can write a book on this. Tell us about your own comeback era.
What's so funny about that is I'm in one right now. I thought when I was writing this book, I was like, I think I got this figured out. And what I'm realizing is we go through multiple comeback eras. And I knew that, but I was like, at this age, maybe I'm done. And the reality is what I've learned is the older you get, the more painful it feels because you're like, I should have this figured out by now. I should have my life together, as we call it, by now. And I think what's so beautiful about being in a very messy middle of my own while doing this book tour is that I'm not faking anything. Not that I would be faking it before, but like I'm not pretending I know. I know how hard it is to make the decision to do something that you did not plan, that you don't want to be wrong about. And I've had such a wonderful connection to people as I've been on tour, getting to talk to them from such a real place. I've done it before, and I was going to be real before, but it's so much rawer right now that I can really tap into that moment and relate to them in a way that I don't think I could have. So what felt like a huge wall to have to climb over being in my own comeback era at this moment is actually the greatest blessing, because I'm so happy that I get to show up and really relate in a way that I really don't think I would have tapped into.
Absolutely. And I mentioned on the show earlier today that I saw you at Next Chapter event, and you were speaking to a room filled with women, high achieving, successful women, moms, aunts, you name it. And as a mother of two, as an author, a wellness expert, a veteran, the resume goes on and on and on. Who was this book really written with in mind?
I really believe this book is for people who are waking up day after day, feet hitting the floor and thinking, is this really what my life is going to be? And I can speak to you and say honestly that if you've worked to build the life that you want and you feel that feeling, it is shocking. It's like, what else could I possibly need? What else could I possibly need to do? The beauty of change is that it allows us to evolve beyond what we could have believed possible for ourselves. But the transformation doesn't always have to be hard. It can be something that we can really relate to in a way that we wouldn't have before.
I love it. I love it. Well, please stick with us, Yasmin. Please stick with us, Ellen.
I'll be here.
I've got more and more questions for both of you ladies. I want to talk about the writing process. I want to talk about the editing process, because I've seen Ellen go through it, and I know it can be very difficult, but also I feel like it's a healing process in and itself when you're writing for your own book. So we're going to have more with Yasmin Cheyenne once we come back to Living Local DMV. Stick with us. Welcome back to Living Local After Dark. I am Sharice Gomez, and I am back with Ellen Minnie and Yasmin Cheyenne. They are back to talk about Miss Cheyenne's new book, The Comeback Era, that is out now, but you can also get your hands on a brand spanking new copy and get it signed tonight at Politics and Prose. That event was actually earlier this evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure. And I mentioned that this is an author meeting an author.
Meeting of the minds.
And it's a meeting of the minds.
You're an author too. Come on. I've read your articles.
It's different.
All right.
It's different.
Right.
It's different. But again, I want to pick you both of your minds, but I want to be an audience member in this too, because I'm just like amazed by all the talent in the studio. So Ellen, please take it away.
Absolutely. So we were talking about this a little bit in the last segment, but Sharice mentioned you're a mom of two, you're a Today Show contributor, you're a veteran, you're an author, you do so many things. And this is your third book. How do you balance writing and the rest of your life, or do you?
Yeah, so I'd like to be very honest here, because I am not probably the normal person, meaning I don't watch TV.
Okay.
Like, I don't watch TV shows.
Yeah.
When I'm writing, I cut out a lot of scrolling and like all of it.
Okay.
So the time that I would normally be spending doing all of like the cool, fun, relaxing, unplugged stuff, it's writing.
Okay.
So I do write every day. I sit down for only an hour. If it comes to me, great. If it doesn't, I still sit for that hour. I think that's the only way you can get a book done, because if you start thinking, I have to be completely motivated, I have to have all the words, you'll never write. Sometimes you just sit for 25 minutes and nothing happens, and then you write a sentence and boom, the rest of it kind of flows. So.
And I needed to hear that. I mean, that's a powerful thing, because some people are like, yes, I can balance everything I can do. But you kind of, I think you have to cut something out to put something else in.
You have to shut it down.
Amen. We do. The scrolling. I wanted to also ask you about any books that have really impacted you, that have made a difference in your life, be it with writing or life in general. Do you have any of those kind of books?
Yeah. Okay. So The first book that came to mind was I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. I know a lot of people know this book. Dr. Maya Angelou's one of my favorite books. But the second book that really changed my life was The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, Dr. Brene Brown.
Yeah.
That, I'm a recovering perfectionist, so it really helped me to learn how to make peace with why I do what I do. But those books changed so much for me.
Mm. And do you think being a perfectionist, do you think kind of unlearning that helped you become a better writer?
Being a perfectionist, unfortunately, makes me a great writer.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Learning how to become a recovering perfectionist helps me stop beating myself up when it doesn't work out the way that I think it should.
Right.
So it's like I've learned to have the language to not be so hard on myself. Yeah.
I really love. I tell you, I was just sitting here. I'm like eating popcorn. One thing that we've had a lot of authors come in to talk about is the one thing that people do not see, the readers do not see, is the publishing process and the process to get that first book published. And now you have 3 with HarperCollins. Can you talk about the process of either believing in yourself, getting that support system, and getting a publisher to really stand behind your work? And what is your words of advice to young authors looking up to you?
You know I worked incredibly hard, but I do feel lucky. It is so hard to get a publisher. A large part of it is the audience that you have, which takes a lot of work to build. Part of it's also luck, but it takes a lot of work to build. And you have to have a really clear message. It's interesting because when you're going to write a book or do anything online, you think, I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to. You really kind of have to pick your line so that you can get the people that are going to say yes to you. And that was hard for me for a long time. I didn't want the smoke, as they say, where people come in the comments and say all these negative things. But I've learned, and knock on wood, I have a really positive audience. And I think by sticking with what I teach, it has helped me curate that kind of community. So, yeah.
And you're a nonfiction author. All of your books have been nonfiction, right?
For now, yes.
Ooh.
Now
hold on.
Tease.
That's what we call a tease in the business.
She said, "For now, wait and see."
For now, wait and see. Okay, let me circle back to that. But I want to also commend you. I know I'm a fiction writer. Nonfiction, you do have to have that background. You kind of have to build up your whole life and then be like, here's a book. Is my life enough? Is my life's work enough? So yes, I mean, I can dozens of props to you for making that happen. And now you're on your 3rd book. Wild. Well, speaking of which, okay, are you going to write fiction next? I mean, you're teasing it.
I am.
Fantastic.
I'm so excited. I'm actually in the process because I can't stop. But I do. It's so much fun. I would love to hear from you because it's so much fun to write a fiction book and you kind of get lost in that world.
Yes,
right?
Totally. Yeah. Now, is it coming out at some point, or is this kind of like a project that's underway right now?
This is a project that's underway.
Okay.
This feels like breaking news.
I can't wait for it.
This feels like breaking news. Also, when you switch to fiction, do you use a different pen name, or what are you thinking about?
I think I'm going to use my name, but like it is fun to think of pulling like an Agatha Christie and like writing a different name.
Please do that. Please do that just for a little razzle dazzle for the girlies.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, Ellen, seeing that you've been writing for fiction and Yasmin, you have a lot of experience with nonfiction. I want to know again, what is your advice to the young girlies who are looking at the Ellens and the Yasmins of the world, who said, you know what, I want to believe in myself. I know it's hard. Is it you talked a lot about building your brand, really, and building your trust with your audience and how hard that is ground roots effort. What was it like for the two of you ladies to really build on who you are as a writer? Did that start in elementary school? I'm interested. I'm so interested.
Yeah, I'll go first quickly. I've been writing since I was 12 years old, so being a writer has been my identity for my pretty much entire life since I could write, well to a degree. And so I've been building on my craft for a long time. I think my advice was that much like you, I'm a perfectionist. And that did sabotage me to an extent because I spent a long time thinking that my writing was not good enough to be published and that I had to achieve certain things or have an MFA or, I don't know, go to an Ivy League or something to get to that point. And it turns out that was not the case. So my advice would be believe in yourself, which is a bit cliche, but I think it is relevant. And I want to hear your advice too, but it sounds like we have to go to break.
We've got to pay a couple bills, so we're gonna tease the people a bit. So stick
Yes.
with us if you want to hear Yasmin's advice to the young girlies and the young men out there who want to be aspiring authors. You have to stick with us. You're watching Living Local After Dark. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Living Local After Dark. I am back with the ladies, the authors themselves, Ellen Minnie and Yasmin Cheyenne. We're talking about the comeback era that is out now. The DC tour stop was tonight. I hope you guys got your hands on it. Me and Ellen sure did.
Oh, we did.
Me and Ellen sure did. And Yasmin, before we went to break, we were talking about the advice you would give to up-and-coming authors. What do you want to tell those young authors who are looking up to you about the writing process, believing in yourself? Ellen talked about it's a lot. A big portion of it is truly believing in yourself, no matter how cliche that sounds. Do you agree with that?
It is, but I think it's important to know that you won't believe in yourself. I started writing at 9 years old, and I really felt like this was what I wanted to do, and I had always done it, but I never thought anyone would take it seriously because I was always comparing myself to the authors that I read, who I was like, there's no way that I could compare to that. What really helps, and I talk about this in the book too, but the community you have around you is everything. I mean, even up until before I went on this tour, I had people mirroring to me, reminding me of who I am when I forget. And I think that's actually how you get something like this done. And after you get it done, how you actually get to go on tour and believe what's coming out of your mouth and that you deserve to be there. It's the people you have around you who know you. And that's why it's one of the most important things you can do when you know you want something for yourself, is to lean on those folks, because you're gonna hit the floor. You're gonna hit the bathroom floor.
No room for imposter syndrome. And even if so, when you have the imposter syndrome, have those people around you who remind you that you are that girl.
And
I like that.
It's 100% true. I think a lot of people think of writing as a totally isolated and solo journey. And to an extent it is, because you are a solo person writing something. But I think I totally agree with you in that it's a long journey, and you need those people along the way to prop you up when the belief doesn't come.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I have to ask you, what is next? What is next for Yasmin Cheyenne? Is it another book? Are you doing another TEDx talk? How can we throw money at you is what I'm trying to say. I've already got the book, but I think I need to buy about 3 more copies.
Yeah, no, the book is really what I am honing in on. And I think what's next is I'm going to be doing small retreats and speaking engagements and writing circles around this book. I meet so many people who have a dream inside of them that they want to come to fruition, whether it could be something like writing a book, or it could be like, I've always wanted to learn how to play an instrument and they don't know how to create the time. So I think that's what's going to be next. And also, to be honest, a break.
As you should.
That's part of the book. You talk
As
about it
you
in the
should.
book. Healing, rest. You talked about it earlier today.
Yes.
Drinking your water, the small
Yes.
things, the small things.
Absolutely. And even during this tour, I built in rest in a way that I never have before, to make sure that I wasn't burning myself out, which I also talk about. And so I know that it's not easy to do, and people will look at you sideways. Like in the middle of a book, you're getting a massage, and I'm like, I need to take moments for myself, because I will give 10,000%. If I don't take the time, then I'll come off of this and need a year before I can recover. And I've been there. I've done that before with my last 2. So.
And I love the fact that you're a wellness coach and you are doing the work that you're preaching, because there's nothing worse than seeing, of course, the health kick doctor who's eating a cheeseburger, or, people not really preaching walking what they're preaching. But what is your advice to everybody who's on that wellness and that healing journey? They're going into their comeback hour, but of course they're feeling the burnout, which you talk a lot about in the book.
I mean, I think I have integrity to a fault sometimes, and that I cannot fake the funk at all. And so if you're in that space, I think own it. I recently shared online that I was struggling with a lot of, my own personal perfectionisms that were really making me feel, like I was failing, or I had to really become close to uncomfortable feelings in a way that I wasn't able to before. So if you're experiencing that, it's an opportunity for you to lean into your community. It's an opportunity for you to get comfortable with discomfort. We learn so much about ourselves. And it's also an opportunity for you to maybe sit down for a bit and give yourself what you need. We always subscribe to pushing through, and I think it's just time we walk away from that rhetoric and learn how to rest not necessarily in the name of being lazy or like not going after what we want, but you cannot continue to overgive and think that you're not going to begin to not have any energy to give to yourself. So
say that again and again and again. I think I'm gonna get that
true.
tatted on my forehead.
I'll join you.
Yes, let's do it. Matching tattoos for sure. Ladies, I'm so excited to talk to the two of you, the two authors in the studio. Yasmin, I want to give you a chance again to let everybody know how they can follow you, how they can purchase the book, and how they can jumpstart their comeback era.
Absolutely. The Comeback Era is available everywhere books are sold. My other two books as well, The Sugar Jar and Wisdom of the Path, are also available. You can follow me on Instagram at Yasmin Cheyenne, and you can also go to my website, yasmincheyenne.com, to get my Substack and stay up to date in events I have coming up.
I love it.
Yes. Huge congratulations.
Thank you
on
so
your
much.
third book. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
And I can't wait for the potential future fiction book.
I want to see the two of you on a book tour together.
You know
Wouldn't that
what?
be dope?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's sew that out there.
That would be fantastic.
That would be fun.
I can be the publicist.
We're here
Sharice,
for
join
it.
us.
Let's
we'll
do
rent
it.
a van.
Yes.
We'll drive around.
Let's
in our
tour it.
van.
Oh my, yeah, Sprinter. We gotta get the Sprinter for sure. Ladies, we have a plan. Let's just get the show on the road.
Absolutely.
Literally. Well, thank you again, Yasmin, Ellen, and everybody have a great night. I know you're having a great night already because you got your hands on the comeback era.
And you're watching us.
And you got the signed copy. Let me brag a little bit.
Ooh, that's gonna be worth a lot of money one day.
It's probably worth a lot right now. I'm gonna put this back in the glass in my
Exactly.
office. Yasmin, thank you again.
you.
Ellen, always a pleasure.
Sharice, always a pleasure.
Thank you guys for watching Living Local After Dark. Have a good night.
Good night.